Breaking news! Things are abuzz behind the scenes for the Pittsburgh Steelers. And why? A potential blockbuster trade between the Pittsburgh Steelers and the New Orleans Saints for one of the NFL's most skilled route runners. I got some information straight from the source, and I want to share it with you now. But before I go any further, make sure you've hit that like button hard if you've been a Steelers fan for over 15 years. There are people here who were at the games back in the 70s. It's great to see fans from different generations supporting the team. If you'd like, comment, "Go Steelers! My heart bleeds black and yellow," or black and gold, whichever you prefer. Now sit back and prepare for the bombshell. It all started with a tweet that spread like wildfire on the Steelers' Twitter. Pittsburgh sports radio host Andrew Filipponi lit the fuse when he claimed the Steelers are working on a trade for New Orleans Saints wide receiver Chris Olave. That's right, Chris Olave, the lightning-quick route coach, the 2022 first-round pick, the 24-year-old who already makes defenders look ridiculous in the open field. This isn't just any wide receiver rumor. It's the kind of rumor that makes you sit up and take notice. But here's where things get murky. The phrase working on a trade has been called, well, an exaggeration by several local insiders and reporters. According to Adam Crowley, a fellow contributor to 93.7 The Fan, the phrase originated from someone simply texting him Chris Olave, not exactly front office trades. Steelers now Zachary Smith emphasized that working on a trade may be little more than a standard inquiry. Just a phone call, nothing binding, nothing formal. In other words, the Steelers may have inquired about availability, but that doesn't mean they're actively discussing terms. Still, the intrigue is very real. Steelers brass are reportedly surveying the league for wide receiver help. And why not? With DK Metcalf already on the roster as your big-bodied X, adding a route savant like Olave at the Z could give Pittsburgh one of the most balanced receiver duos in the NFL. Throw in rookie Roman Wilson, the speedy Calvin Austin III, and veteran Robert Woods, and suddenly the Steelers' receiver core starts to look like a real strength heading into 2025. But let's address the elephant in the room, Olave's injury history. The talent is undeniable. Elite separation, vertical threat, precise route execution. But the man has a serious concussion history. 5 documented concussions dating back to his Ohio State days, including 2 just last season. That's not just concerning, it's career-threatening. It's the kind of red flag that makes general managers pause before giving up a premium draft pick. Speaking of picks, here's the trade math being tossed around. A third-rounder. The Steelers have 3 third-round picks in next year's draft. They could part with 1 and still have 2 left in the chamber. For a 24-year-old who's already proven he can play at a high level in the NFL, that's not a crazy gamble. But will New Orleans bite? Unlikely. The Saints just picked up Olave's 5th-year option, a clear signal that they still see him as part of their core. Strip Olave from their current receiving unit, and you're left with an uninspiring group of names. Rashid Shaheed, Brandon Cooks, Cedric Wilson Jr. Not exactly a murderer's row, especially not for a team looking to develop a rookie quarterback like Tyler Show. From the Saints' perspective, keeping Olave makes all the sense in the world, especially considering his cap-friendly rookie deal. And yet, if the Saints were even remotely open to trading him, Pittsburgh might be one of the few teams that can stomach both the risk and the price. The potential reward? An offense with legitimate top 10 upside. Picture this. Arthur Smith dialing up play action, DK dragging coverage deep, Olave snapping off out routes underneath, and Roman Wilson flying across the formation. It's hard not to salivate at the possibilities.
But here's the million-dollar question, Steelers fans. If New Orleans did suddenly decide to pick up the phone and say, make us an offer, how far should Pittsburgh go? A second-rounder? Too rich? Stick to a third and hold firm? Or is Olave's upside worth going all in, despite the looming risk of another concussion derailing everything? The issue isn't just about potential anymore, it's about urgency. The Steelers have built a roster that looks ready to compete now. They've committed to DK Metcalf as their top weapon, invested in a strong defense year after year, and even taken swings at quarterbacks like Russell Wilson and Justin Fields. But one look at the depth chart behind Metcalf and it's clear Pittsburgh lacks a true second wide receiver that can consistently separate and create matchup nightmares. That's where Olave would fit perfectly, and this isn't just some pie-in-the-sky dream. The Steelers front office has reportedly made multiple calls across the league, not just to New Orleans. Sources confirm they've reached out to the Green Bay Packers, asking about both Romeo Doubs and Dontavion Wicks. Neither of those options has materialized into a deal, but it shows a pattern. Pittsburgh knows it needs another receiver, and they're actively exploring it. But none of those names have the ceiling that Olave brings. Now let's talk TikTok fit. Imagine Chris Olave lining up opposite DK Metcalf, two elite talents who win in entirely different ways. Metcalf with power, size, and deep ball dominance. Olave with surgical precision, quick twitch agility, and that rare ability to manipulate defensive backs before the catch. It's the kind of 1A, 1B dynamic that forces defensive coordinators to pick their poison, and that's not even mentioning the benefit this would bring to whoever wins the quarterback battle in Pittsburgh, whether it's Russell Wilson's experience or Justin Fields' dual-threat dynamism. Both would be stepping into the best receiving core either has ever had. But again, it all circles back to that one risk: concussions. We've seen this story before in the NFL, promising careers cut short due to repeated head injuries. Olave has 5, including 2 last year alone. He's 1 or 2 hits away from the kind of medical conversations no one wants to have. If Pittsburgh makes this deal, they're betting not just on talent, but on medical science, recovery protocols, and Olave's ability to protect himself better moving forward. There's also the contractual angle. Olave is still on his rookie deal, which the Saints extended with his 5th-year option. That means 2 years of cost control for any team that acquires him. From a salary cap standpoint, he's a bargain. And for a team like Pittsburgh, trying to juggle big contracts on defense while staying flexible on offense, that matters. The question is whether the Saints, who are trying to develop a young QB of their own, would give up that kind of value for a mid-round draft pick. Most insiders think not. And honestly, can you blame New Orleans? Take Olave out of that lineup, and it gets bleak fast. Rashid Shaheed is explosive, sure, but not a WR1. Brandon Cooks is aging, Cedric Wilson Jr. isn't moving the needle, and the rest of the room lacks serious depth or playmaking chops for a team that just drafted Tyler Show and is trying. To evaluate whether he's their future, removing his best weapon doesn't exactly scream supportive development. So it seems like this whole Chris Olave buzz may end the way so many Steelers trade rumors do, as just smoke without the fire to back it up. Another headline that flashes across social media, giving fans a moment to dream, to imagine what could be, only to fizzle out as the realities of NFL business take hold. But make no mistake, this wasn't just a baseless rumor. It was a signal, a message that the Steelers front office is fully aware of the offensive shortcomings and is actively working to fix them. This isn't a passive front office content, with standing pat and hoping for internal growth. They're making calls, they're evaluating the market. They're pushing to bring in another impact weapon to support DK Metcalf, who as it stands is expected to carry a massive load in the passing game. The effort is there, and that's important, because in today's AFC, just being good isn't enough. You need firepower, versatility, and depth, even if the Olave trade doesn't come to fruition, and let's be real, the Saints don't seem too eager to part with a young, elite receiver on a rookie deal. There are still other names in play. Romeo Doubs brings chemistry with Aaron Rodgers. Keenan Allen, though older, offers reliable hands and veteran savvy. Dontavion Wicks is intriguing for his size and blocking ability, and Quinton Johnston is still a raw talent with yards after catch upside. These may not be blockbuster names, but each could add value to the Steelers' receiving core. So let's turn it over to you, Steelers Nation. If Chris Olave is off the table, who would you want to see the Steelers target to line up across from DK Metcalf? Drop your answer in the comments, smash that like button if you're riding with the black and gold, and make sure you're subscribed for more in-depth Steelers coverage. Go Steelers!